We stand in the street right here is Jensen. We off of Jensen and Elm. This house that I'm walking around right here, this house I grew up in when I was a child. When I was 5 years old, my whole family on my dad's side of the family, my grandmother, Grandma Livingston, she lived, how you doing? She lived at this house right here. So you had all these little ghetto black kids that grew up in this house right here. My grandmama house when she was still alive. My dad and all my aunties, they would drop us off at this house right here, and we would just run amok in the 80s. So then I grew up in this house right here off of Jensen and Elm, not that far from the highway. But the story I want to tell you about is a little bit more down the street. Now this is the whole complete house, all the way to the back. How you doing, sir?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. So I grew up in this house right here, but the story doesn't end there. Now, from my time era when I was a younger man, when people said that you were a hustler, that mean that you was a hard working man. You was a hard worker. You did stuff with your hands. You wasn't scared to get dirty. You wasn't scared to do what you had to do to make a little bit of money. Now, when I stayed with my grandmother at that house, I was only like five years old, in the second grade, somewhere around that. I got so many butt whoopings and so many discipline over at that house. It's amazing. Now this street right here is Poppy. My dad, he lived in a house. We stayed not that far, like on this side of the street right here, maybe 10 to 15 houses down is where I stayed with my dad at that time. But back to the story itself. Hard workers, hustlers. Now, when you say hustlers nowadays, you think about somebody that's selling some drugs. You know what I'm saying? Robbing people. I talk to a lot of the young people, and I ask them, what does hustling mean? And they all tell me the same thing. It's somebody who sell drugs, somebody who be breaking in people's house, stealing their stuff, trying to make some money off of it. Now me, for my whole life, I've been a hard worker, y'all. I don't care what kind of work it is. A man got to do what a man got to do to make money. Now, in the 80s, this store right here, it was popping, y'all. They had a little bit of everything up in there. You can go in there, get some nachos. All the little kids love this store because it had 2 arcade game machines in the back. It was 4 of them, my bad. It was 4 arcade game machines in the back. So if you had a little bit of money, and all around here on the west side, they didn't have nothing like that. Like all this new stuff right here, they didn't have none of that. Gas stations, Dollar Tree, it was nothing like that. It was only Tajas across the street. Just like I said, I'm on Elm and I'm on Jensen. I better hurry up because I only got a little bit of time before this camera cut off on your boy. I promise y'all though, when I get more money and I have more money to do more, like right now, I don't have a camera, I don't have a computer, but I'm in investments right now, y'all. And when I'm investing, I'm gonna have more to show you these stories even more better. Now here we come to the story part. Now this building right here in the 80s, it finally caved in not that long ago, maybe like 8 years ago. The building finally collapsed, and they had to, I guess I can't say renovated, but they closed it down. But this place right here, when I was 5 years old, it was an old black man who used to run this store, and it was like a thrift store. He would pull all this old stuff from the back, and he would bring it out like right about here, and he would set up his shop for the day. So he would do his business for the day. Now, me being 5 years old, I came up over here looking for work. This black man, he looked at like, what's his name? He looked at like Teddy Pendergrass with a jerry curl. I think I better let it go. Yeah, he looked at just like that. But this older black man, he put me to work. He paid me up to $3 and all the penny candy that I could grab with one hand. I would come here after I got out of school at West Fresno. I would come here when I went to my grandma's house, and I would walk over here and he would put me to work. Did he need me to help him? No, he did not. But he seen a young man that was willing to work and make money. You know what I'm saying? So he put me to work. He had me come in, drag all this old stuff that he was selling, paid me $3, all the penny candy I can grab. And this man had a good heart. Where he at to this day, he was already up in age in the 80s, so I know he no longer with us. God bless his heart. But this is just one more story of my life. So when people tell me about hustling and hard worker, I remember where I came from. You know what I'm saying? I remember things that I had to do for money. And this older black gentleman put me, this used to be his shop. It doesn't look like it's much now, but in the 80s, it was a big old giant shop, and he had a lot of stuff to sell. So when people tell me stories about the past or what a hustler is, I know what a hustler is, you know what I'm saying? And I know about my past, you know what I'm saying? And this is just one more story of my life. This is your boy Jehoshaphat, aka Fatboyfish. Peace to all the people in the world.